Okay. Next up is Mariko. Yeah, just
So I'd like to a little bit talk about the multi-Doppler radar wind retrieval, which means vertical velocity retrievals using the observational dataset for convective systems. The motivation is very simple. Cloud dynamics control cloud evolution, and it's a key to understanding the cloud microphysics. But updraft and downdraft are even though they are very fundamental property, but it's very difficult to measure. So remote sensing methods have historically been effective to estimate their emotion, but there are several challenges and uncertainties. Particularly this, I'm really focused on the small scale features of velocity course. Today I have two objectives. One is to evaluate and optimize the retrieval code. Here I am evaluating by comparison, intercomparison using the different code. One is the Doppler code developed by here by I'm organizing this code. And second one is PyDBA developed by the Argonne National Lab. The first two codes are very similar. Using the same core product by the Portuguese Conservatoire, which uses the 3D bar, the code. Third one is a very different techniques developed by the Bell and by in CSU. This is the spline analysis for the aircraft and the radar observation named the Samurai code. Yeah. The second objective is to more science purposes to characterize updraft and downdraft properties by the postdoc and the students. So here I'd like to little bit talk about the basics of the multi-Doppler radar wind retrievals. This technique uses the Doppler velocity more than two radars. The one radar observes the radial velocity only radial direction, not the actual threaded wind. But when we use two radars located at the different site, using the same radar, like velocity, radial velocity from this radar, radial velocity from this radar, then we can estimate the UVW, just estimate. But basic estimation, a basic technique is 3D bar technique, which finds the optimal solution of UVW such that the cost function is minimized. The cost function is composed of several terms depending on the techniques. Here in my code, the cost function includes the radial velocity, forcing, mass continuity iteration, surface impermeability, and background and smoothing. Each term has a way to control the contribution of the parameters. This is also the part of the uncertainty. There's many challenges in the multi-Doppler radar wind retrievals. Here, it's gonna be a little bit longer talk. There are many sources of the uncertainty. The one is here I will show the some 8 sources, but not limited. There are more. But here, number one is the number of data points, depending on the coverage of the radar scan, how many elevation angles are scanned by the one radar or two radars, and how many radars we will use. Oh yeah, how many radars we will use? More radars has a more data set, meaning more actual solution, more better solution. But it's difficult to get more data. Beam geometry, for example, if close to the radar, we have more data set for the radar sampling volume. The far away of the radar, radar can cover the more space, but there's the data set is more sparse. This is also the uncertainty. Grading techniques are important, and grading means the radar has a radar coordinate. The first observation is that radar has a radar coordinate, meaning elevation angles, azimuth, and range. But to retrieve the UVW, we want to convert the radar coordinate into the 3D Cartesian coordinate. This also has several techniques which could be the source of the uncertainty. Temporal mismatching, meaning radar clouded moving big path, but radars can like smoothing, like one elevation, second elevation takes up several minutes. This is also the source of the uncertainty. And algorithm also the source of the uncertainty. And so to estimate the UVW, we also need to consider the fall speed of the hydrometers. So this is also the parameterization, and this could be the uncertainty. And quality control is also very important. So there are a lot of uncertainty, and then how we can. So my first objective to understand the uncertainty. But there are several sources of open source code, as I said before. Like here, the 3 code here, but there are more open source code. But some people use this code, some people use this code, but they don't know how much variability included depending on the source code. So the first I try to understand the variability of this depending on the code. I picked up the one mesoscale convective case observed in the northern Alabama, and then I applied our code, IDDA, and summary code into the same case and estimate the vertical velocity. The right figure shows the vertical profiles of the percentile of updraft on left hand side and downdraft on the right hand side. And that color represents the pi DDA. Blue shows our code. So there are several uncertainties, but basically okay for the peak of the updraft here and second peak just here. But the magnitude is a little bit different. So when try to define where these differences come from, the bottom plot is the same case, same technique, but grading input is the same. So then when we use the same grading, we have a very consistent result, meaning that grading smoothing interpolation is very important for this case. And I also compare with the summary result, and the Google shows the summary result for the same case. Generally, the results from 3 codes show a very good agreement statistically. But there are more variability in a higher altitude greater than 6 kilometer altitude, where data is very sparse, where more uncertainties. There are more uncertainty. So here I use the observational data set. I showed several variability, but we don't know the truth. So next, I conducted the OC studies, which called the observational system simulation experiment using the model simulation, where the model input is a truth. And then we simulated observational dataset using the radar simulator and the models. The top 2 plots the vertical cross-section of radar reflectivity and the W from the model, which is the truth in this experiment. The bottom 3 plots show the simulated retrieval from 3 code. Left hand side is our code, middle is pi DDA, and right is a summary code processes. So there are very good agreement in terms of this location of the convective core here, but there were very strong difference in the magnitude. I am trying to where those are certainly come from. There are each code has a very different, very complicated, including many parameters that we have to choose depending on the case, depending on the radar data. I found that the big sources is the smoothness for the pi DDA, but not only the one.
How many radars you use in
The
this?
two radars here. So this is a statistical comparison from model and the Stony Brook our code, and red is our code, and black with the model which is the truth. If this is the median and the middle one is 95 percentiles, they are very consistent, but the 99 percentile has a very different meaning. The retrieval didn't capture the very small and very strong updraft in this case. So using this code, so this is the second objective. Using our retrieval code, we tried to estimate the characteristics updraft, downdraft quartz. We collected a very good data set in Houston, led by the Pavlos. The data was collected during the two field campaign, the tracer field campaign, supported by DOE, and also escape field campaign supported by NSF. This is led by the Pavlos. We had two radars there, and we did optimize scan strategies, and we collected a very more nice data set for more than 4,000 convective there. And bottom two plot the initial result for the vertical cross section of radar reflectivity and vertical velocity from the code. I'd like to quickly introduce the KT. KT is analysis using the data set. The updraft, interestingly, the vertical velocity, the retrieval captured very strong vertical velocity, sometimes greater than 30 meters per second. Median is 12 meters per second. I am more interested in the size of the updraft quartz. She showed the mean area is smaller than most of the areas smaller than 1 square kilometers, which cannot be captured by the kilometer scale models. Aspect ratio is mostly more correlated shape, like this shape. Jarin, the PhD student Jarin, is working on the turbulence characteristics. This showed the vertical velocity is also associated with the strong turbulence. So we have an ongoing field campaign in Northern Alabama, where we have a logical radar there. And Stony Brook deployed the expand phase array radar in the Northern Alabama, coordinated with the different project and different field campaign. We are working together. I forgot to put the Pavlos here. So this is the initial result by the Stony Brook phase array radar. The top there reflected in the Doppler velocity, bottom the spectrum width. You can see a very nice feature of the dynamic power and physical characteristics. And that's all. Thank you.
So it's very exciting to see like multiple radar together, but from my own experience, when you have multiple radar together, the radar being tight, very difficult. So I want to ask, have you considered the reflectivity when you calculate the big height, or you just use the standard model?
So for the first case, we had multiple elevation angles from 0 to, I think, 40 degrees that cover the entire cloud. But there are some gaps between the elevation angles. I mean, 0 degree, 1 degree, 3 elevations, 3, 4, 15, 20, or some gaps. So I did the interpolation between the two several data sets for the weighting function, and then so that will be also answer to.
Yeah, but I question because the data tip will be bent, right? Yeah, because the indicate the reflectivity.
Because of the Earth curvature.
Reflectivity.
Refraction. I think, oh yeah,
Sure.
yeah, refraction bending of the beam.
So people to take the very accurate beam height. And especially when you are trying to apply different radars together, find the common height. Yeah, so I just wondering.
So I simply incorporated some algorithm to, not algorithm, just simple estimation of the refraction and then curvature of the Earth's curvature. It's a very simple assumption there.
And also, when you apply the radar data from upper level, have you considered the beam broadening issue?
Yes.
Then you just trying to do the calculation, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay, very good.